few weeks ago, my producers and I introduced the Pick Me Larry contest. We asked fans to submit videos telling us why they should be interviewed on Larry King Now. After hearing many exciting stories, we picked a winner and a runner-up. Today, our runner-up is with us. Zach Veach joins us via Google Hangout. Zach is an 18-year-old Indy race car driver, author, and activist. He competes in the Mazda Road to Indy Firestone Light Series and is the 2012 Formula Car Challenge Winter Series champion. He's also the youngest person ever to hold a track record at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now let's take a quick look at his winning Pick Me Larry video submission.
Hey Larry, this is Michael Andretti. We have a lot in common. You only interview relevant people, and I only hire the best drivers, and Zach Veach is one of them.
If there's one thing I love, it's being a race car driver. A close second, talking about it. I strive to be the best driver in the world, and being alongside the greatest interviewer would be pretty cool. I mean, after all, we do have a lot in common. I race cars, you remember when they weren't any. Your interview style is relaxed and frank. My driving style is relaxed and smooth.
Now, I can't understand, Zach, why you were runner-up. I don't know what the winner got, but that was terrific. And have Andretti introduce you, that's pretty great. Now, I don't understand, Zach. You're 18, you started driving when you were 10. How were you allowed to drive at age 10?
Well, my car was a lot slower than what I'm driving now. When I started racing go-karts, they were only going about 35 miles per hour, but it was still enough to make my family a little nervous.
What attracted you to this? Why did you want to race cars?
I was always drawn to open-wheel racing. It was a passion that I had growing up, and my family was really big into motorsports at the time through my father, so I kind of followed in his footsteps and then kind of got my start at an early age.
And now you're 18 now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The Indy Car Mazda Road to Indy Firestone, what is that?
Well, basically what the Mazda Road to Indy series is like the different levels of baseball that you have trying to get to the major leagues. So we have 4 different steps that a driver takes. At 15 years old, you can start on the Road to Indy series. I've climbed up 3 steps already to the Firestone Indy Light Series, 1 step away from the Indy Car, and now be completing my dream of racing in the Indianapolis 500 one day.
You don't like NASCAR?
Well, I've always been drawn to Indy Car. You know, one day hope to have my face on the trophy and get to throw the milk everywhere at the end of the Indianapolis 500.
Now, were you on the same team? What is your association with Danica Patrick?
Danica and I were actually teammates at Andretti Autosport in 2010 and 11, and being a teenager, I kind of always had a bit of a crush on her as well, so we were really good friends.
Well, she's divorced now. You still interested?
Maybe. I mean, we'll talk about that later for sure.
You think a female will ever win the Indianapolis 500?
Definitely. I mean, in the race cars, when it comes down to it, we're all just drivers, and you know, race or gender really doesn't matter because we're all just as talented. At the end of the day, it comes down to whoever works the hardest and wants it the worst.
Now, what about schooling? You go to school and you have time to do all this?
Yes, for sure. I'm very lucky with my situation in school. I've been completing my high school education online on the computer. I go to K-12 online schools, so that allows me to travel across the country and follow my dream because my schooling schedule kind of fits what I need. When
do you think you'll be riding in the Indy 500?
Well, if we can get the funding and budget together, hopefully next year. But, you know, we're just going to try to take our time climbing up the ladder, and we don't want to rush too fast. But, you know, being in Firestone Indy Lights at only an 18-year-old, we still have plenty of time to get there.
Has Andretti been a help?
Oh, of course. I signed onto their team. I'm starting my 4th season with them. So Michael, he was always my hero growing up, and he's done so much to help me and develop me to who I am today. So it would be impossible for me to be here if it wasn't for Andretti Autosport and especially K-12.
Will you be the youngest driver ever?
I'll be one of the youngest. I believe Sarah Fisher has beat me by a couple months, and her father was actually the one that raised me up to be a driver as well, so it's a nice little connection.
You've co-authored a book for teens and have joined the fight against bullying. Tell us how you got involved in that.
Well, everything that I support, I've always had a little bit of a past experience with. The anti-texting and the anti-bullying. I was actually bullied in middle school because I wasn't really the biggest kid, as you can probably tell why. So, you know, that really kind of held me back from wanting to achieve my dream. So I wanted to write a book covering a lot of the things that I learned on my journey to becoming a professional race car driver with bullying and anti-texting to help support others on their journey to follow their dreams as well.
What do you say to teens who are bullied?
Well, a lot of it is, just trying to understand it. Sometimes, revenge isn't always the best way to get help. So what I always try to do is try to talk them how to find help through the school administrators, their families, and I try to be as supportive as possible as well. It's a very great organization that I'm part of called the Great American Noble Challenge. They actually seek school students to create videos against bullying to show that, the bullied kids aren't alone.
That's a great idea. Now, we're part of the same thing. We're both in Oprah's no phone zone. Right? I totally support that idea. That hits close to home for you, right?
Yes. A few years ago, I was only about 14, 15 years old, and a girl from my community. I come from a very small town, about 200 people. So when something happens to one of us, it really affects the whole town. And she had her license for a couple months and was sadly texting while driving and led to a fatal car accident. So when that hit me, I saw the Open No Phone Zone, and I wanted to do something along with you and everyone else that was a part of it to stand out and make a difference.
It's easy to say it, but texting while driving would happen to be the world's dumbest thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially in teenagers, we grow up with the technology in our hands, so we don't think it's a big deal when we get in the car. But, if we're out on the racetrack going 200 miles an hour and we have 100% of our focus on the racetrack, even going 60 miles an hour down the highway, you should be focused as well.
Now, you've created a cell phone app to help fight texting. How does it work?
Yes, sir. It's called Your Text. It works as an auto-reply feature to text messages you get while driving. So you don't have to have the urge to text people back so they know what you're doing. So I wanted to create that because you can have technology help defeat the problem that it created in the first place.
You're an amazing kid. What was the town you grew up in?
Stockdale, Ohio. It's a southern part of Ohio, a very small farm town. So a lot of people think I should have went the NASCAR route, but my heart's an open wheel.
You still live there?
Yes, sir. I'm actually looking to move to Indy in the coming months just because with the career taking off the way it has.
How do you stay grounded?
Well, I have very humbling parents for sure. They keep me where I am, but I always wanted to be a driver that the fans weren't scared to walk up and talk to. I never wanted to be one of those guys that thought they were bigger than themselves because at the end of the day, I'm still just a little 18-year-old kid from Stockdale, Ohio. I'm never going to let any of this change me.
How about fear, Zach? Aren't you a little afraid of this? There have been many accidents, some famous people and not so famous people killed at the track.
Well,
why do you want to do this?
Well, risk is a part of it, but I feel when you love something as much as I love this sport, you really don't worry about that. And then the Indy Car series have done such a great job in making the car safer over the years that we're to the pivoting point that the cars are the safest they've been ever since the dawn of racing. So knowing that, I'm coming into this age that a lot of drivers aren't getting hurt anymore, even in the worst crashes. So for me, that's very comforting, and for my mom as well. So we're just happy to be where we are now.
Now, is your goal to be a race car driver through adulthood?
Yes, sir. Definitely until I get to the retiring age, and then one day I'd like to own my own team.
Zach, if I'm going to bet on anyone, I'm going to bet on you. And I have no idea who the winner is, but if you're the runner-up, the winner better be something really from outer space, because you are a terrific guest. Good luck to you, man.
Really appreciate that.
A big thanks to our guest, Zach Veach, for sharing his story. Good luck on your path to Indy car racing glory. We're rooting for you. If I'm going to bet on anything, I'm betting on you. Thanks, Zach.